We are going to use a new technique to solve matrices really quickly. If you choose to continue your math career at some point and you do learn about matrices again in a class called linear programming, you will do this the long way, but I'm going to show you the shortcut on your calculator. You will probably see systems of equations on the ACT or the SAT, and this is a tool that you can use to solve systems quickly. A sporting goods store sells footballs, basketballs, and volleyballs. A football costs $35, a basketball $25, and a volleyball $15. On a given day, the store sold 5 times as many footballs as volleyballs. They brought in a total of $3,750 that day, and the money made from basketballs alone was 4 times the money made from volleyballs alone. How many footballs, basketballs, and volleyballs were sold? Step 1, let's set up the problem. So we actually have to write our systems of equations. Notice here that we have 3 things: footballs, basketballs, and volleyballs. That means we need 3 equations. We're going to let F stand for footballs, B for basketballs, and V for volleyballs. So let's start with the first thing that we see, our first equation. On a given day, the store sold 5 times as many footballs as volleyballs. So that means I should have more footballs than volleyballs. So that really means that if there are more volleyballs than footballs, or more footballs than volleyballs, I want to write it that way. The next sentence, they brought in a total of $3,750. Well, I know that the footballs cost $35 each, plus the $25 for a basketball, for every basketball, and $15 for every volleyball. That has to total $3,750. And the third part is the money made from basketballs was 4 times the money made from volleyballs. So basketballs is 4 times the volleyballs. But keep in mind that basketballs were $25 and volleyballs were $15. So I got to include that money in there. We're almost ready to write our matrices. But first we have to remember that our equations all have to go in the same order. So we all want them to go F first, then B, then V. Our first one in purple, we actually need to move that F to the other side. So that equation, I'm going to subtract that F on both sides. Now I have negative F plus 5V equals 0. My blue equation, everything is in the right order, so I'm good to go. But my red one, I have to bring the V to the other side. So 4 times 15 is really 60. So I'm going to bring 60V to the other side. So this is going to become 25B minus 60V equals 0. Now I'm ready to set up a matrix. First equation, so I know I want it to go F, the B's, then the V's. First one, I have negative 1 football. I have 0 basketballs and 5 volleyballs. Second one, I have 35 footballs, 25 basketballs, 15 for volleyballs. Third one, I have 0 football, 25 for basketball, and negative 60 for volleyball. Now instead of putting the variable matrix next to it and then having it equal constants, I'm actually instead going to draw a horizontal or a vertical line right there, and then I'm going to put my solutions to each of the equations to the right of it. So I had 0, 3,750, and another 0. And then I'm really going to close my matrix. So now take a minute and go ahead and enter this 3x4 matrix in A in your calculator. You don't need, there's nowhere to put that vertical line, but that's okay. Your calculator is going to know what to do with the next thing that we do. So once you have that entered in matrix A, you are this time going to go to your, so quit, go to your home screen by hitting second quit, which is above the mode button. Then hit second matrix, go to math, and then you are going to either hit the up or the down arrow, whichever one you prefer, and you are going to go to letter B, which says RREF, row reduced echelon form. You don't have to know what that stands for though. You're going to, so once you get to B, hit enter. And then RREF should show up on your home screen with parentheses. You're going to enter A, so go to second matrix and select matrix A and hit enter. You should get a matrix that looks pretty nice because it has ones down the diagonals. And numbers in the farthest right column. How does this help us? Well, remember that this first column stood for footballs. So it really says 1 football equals 75. The second columns were basketballs. So I have 1 basketball is 36, and then 1 volleyball is 15. So this was a nice way for us to figure out how many footballs, how many basketballs, and how many volleyballs. So as long as you have ones down the diagonal in your, after you have done RREF, your answers, okay, we'll draw that line, are the numbers to the right of it. The hardest part for you is probably going to be setting up those equations, but take your time, double check, and make sure what you have makes sense. Okay, now you have the next one to try by yourself.